here in Tanzania, Florence Tangeli Matli, ambassadors of the Kili Project, friends, environment lovers, ndugu zangu wa Tanzania, good morning, habari za asubuhi. Hizo ni za njaa sana. You just had coffee and tea, Joanne. Good morning. We're here for a great cause. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It's not the best morning, Monday, Blue Monday. So much to discuss regarding environment. Kilimanjaro. It's not just about Kilimanjaro. It's more than Kilimanjaro. It's the whole span of Tanzania. And it's actually an emergency. That's the root issue here. It's 400,000 hectares per annum being lost through forestry. So many. So many of us use mkaa. I don't ask you to raise your hands now. Lakini wapo tunatumia mkaa. Huwezi kupika pilau kizuri bila mkaa wakati mwingine. Lakini it's time for us to actually take action, to invite, to inspire others to do what we really must do to preserve our forestry. Now Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain in the world. The whole of Africa will be lit. So this is somehow symbolic of how much noise we need to make so that everyone else hears, especially in this continent of Africa. So it's been an interesting and very intimate, yet interactive experience. There'll be a panel discussion forum here. So we're not going to make it so official, siogope. Right? So please, tukua changanya lugha na lugha ya taifa. Kutokana na kwamba tunapenda sana lugha yetu ya Kiswahili. Naomba tuvumilianeni jamani. Kama hujajifunza mpaka sasa hivi na nakana hujaina Kiswahili kozi. Bibidi uende. I'll be accompanied with a wonderful Miranda. Miranda karibu sana. We'll see. We'll be also doing the facilitation hapa. Making sure everyone's on board. Karibu sana. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. You scrub up very nice.
Thank you.
Those of you that know Evans, he's usually in jeans and a t-shirt, so I was like, who's this dude? Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for being here to support this incredible cause, this phenomenal woman, Sarah, here, and as well as honoring you and the movement that you've started here, and I know this is just the beginning. I also wanted to shout out Mr. and Mrs. Scott, the parents, if you could stand up please and just give us a wave, who raised this wonderful woman. Please give them a round of applause. These are the parents of the fabulous Sarah, and Sarah started this movement, and I'm just so proud to be a supporter of what you're doing. You're incredible, Sarah.
Excellent. Miranda is also a human capital consulting firm. She's founder and director of Empower. Tunashukuru sana. So you bring your expertise to this panel as well. So, without much ado, we would like to take this opportunity to invite one of the great supporters for environment, conservation, here in Tanzania and across, all the way from Switzerland. Please welcome Your Excellency, Mrs. Matli.
Thank you. I still would like to see. Can I use your?
Yes, you can use this one. Yes, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable January Makamba, Minister for Environment and Guest of Honor. Dear guest, dear Sarah, it is not only a honor but really a pleasure to be with you today. Over 10 years ago, I was in Nairobi, and when Wangari Maathai, the Nobel Prize laureate, Peace Laureate, launched a crazy idea: plant 1 billion trees. It sounds crazy at that time, but very quickly it proved absolutely possible and also not enough. Today we need projects like the Kilimanjaro project because our environment is degrading. With global warming, with deforestation, we see the impact on daily, we see those impacts, and strong impact also on poor people. This endeavor that we are going to launch today is a concern for all of us. We have to be together. It's not only a problem for Africa, for Tanzania, the snows, the eternal snows of Kilimanjaro might not be eternal. And this is really a big concern for all of us in the planet. We're all together. That's why I'm really honored and pleased that the Embassy of Switzerland be part of this launch today. We have tried to support as much as possible Sarah, but she's really the strong force behind this project, and I really want to congratulate you, Sarah, for being hopefully even more crazy than Wangari Maathai. We need people like you, and we need all of you and the press also to make this project be really a big success. You're not alone. Everyone can make a difference, from the single person on the countryside and to the people in New York, and the multilateral, the politician. Everyone can make a difference, and anyone has to make its contribution. Switzerland in Tanzania is actually supporting projects of sustainable forest management in the region of Morogoro. We have proven that it is possible to continue using charcoal and firewood on a sustainable way. There is nothing wrong in making charcoal, in using firewood, as long as it is sustainable. This country is going to grow. The population will be, by 2050, like 100 million inhabitants. So the pressure is so tremendous that we want to keep the forest, and that people can continue using firewood and charcoal. We have to be all together. We want to partner. We are here to partner with the government of Tanzania, with the Minister of Environment, but also Natural Resources and also Ministry of Energy. We all have to put our forces together. The international community and the countries who are really involved in sustainable forest management have come together. We have created a platform. We try to coordinate ourselves. We try to coordinate also other multilateral donors, and to be here to support the government of Tanzania. This is really a concern for all of us. And today, really, we have to launch a campaign that hopefully will make a difference. So, Tuje, Pamoja, we start. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much, Sarah, for associating us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for those opening remarks. Now, one of Sarah's talents has been to bring together the very best stakeholders possible to get this project off the ground. So our next guest needs no introduction, really. Kelvin Twisa, East Africa's marketeer par excellence, and a member of the board for the Kilimanjaro project. Karibu sana, please.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Mheshimiwa Waziri, Mheshimiwa Balozi, najifunza formalities, sijazoea hizi, mzoea boardroom. Sarah has been a friend of mine for over 10 years, and we've worked together in the creative side, building brands and implementing some crazy ideas. Some together, some from a different organization rather. But with this idea, I think it started with a good glass of wine. As she briefed me that I have an idea where we want to make an environmental change and bring impact. So we started, and she invited me to become one of the advisors, one of the board members, and I agreed to join because I like crazy ideas. We started off thinking about wrapping Mount Kilimanjaro with kangas. We went, talked to a lot of the textile guys, and they thought we were crazy. But what we wanted to do, and what Sarah was driving, was a global impact campaign which gets partners from across the world involved in driving the message of what's happening to Kilimanjaro and many other areas in terms of the environment. But what we realize is it's very important to ensure that not only are people educated, but we also drive action. And through that, we've arrived to where we are today. I'm very proud of the whole concept from where I started. I'm very proud to be part of this environment. I'm very proud to go home and tell my kids, my daughters especially, who are young, that, you know what, your father did something for the environment. This is something that will definitely have an impact, and if we all take it and own it, I'm sure that tutakuja pamoja and we can change this planet. It's the only one we have. There's no other. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite Sarah. Karibu sana dada yangu.
January Makamba, Minister of Environment, Florence, Ambassador to Switzerland, of Switzerland to Tanzania, distinguished guests, people of the media, thank you all for being here today. What you see here today is 2 years of hard work, and it's not culminating here. It has to go on from here. This is just a launch event. But before I start, I would like to ask you all just to close your eyes as I read an excerpt of a message that held me tight for the last 2 years when I persevered to launch this project. My friends, do not lose heart. We were made for these times. Ours is not a task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small calm thing that one soul can do to help another soul, to assist some portion of this poor suffering world, will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip towards enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding to, adding more, continuing. We know that it does not take everyone on earth to bring justice and peace, but a small determined group who will not give up during the first, second, or 100th gale. And one of the most calming and powerful actions that you can do to intervene in a stormy world is to stand up and show your soul. A soul on deck shines like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, build signal fires, and cause proper matters to catch fire. And to display the lantern of a soul in a shadowy times like these, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others, are both acts of immense bravery and great necessity. So, Tuje Pamoja. So in August last year, we launched the Kilimanjaro project. And as Calvin mentioned, it was this crazy idea to wrap Kilimanjaro in Kanga as an awareness campaign. But we realized soon enough that awareness just wasn't enough. We need climate action. So instead of wrapping the mountain with Kanga, we're going to wrap it with trees. Just before, you see this Kanga all around the room, just before we went to print with this Kanga, the word was, the phrase was Tupo Pamoja, we are together. And just before we went to print, a Tanzanian friend of mine said, Sarah, maybe you should just change that to Tuje Pamoja, because Tupo Pamoja assumes that we are already together, yet Tuje Pamoja requires an action and a standing up and a coming together. So that's why we are here today, because we've actively chosen to be here and we've actively chosen to make a difference. So since the launch a year ago, we've been slowly building our networks, learning and planting trees. And what we want to do is create a nationwide challenge that sees every Tanzanian planting at least 1 tree a year. In a recent interview I had with His Excellency Kikwete this last week, he spoke about an anecdote of when he spoke to Parliament in 2005. And he said, we have to plant trees like crazy people. Now, if that's what he said in 2005, fast forward to 2018, we need to be planting trees with a frenzy in our being, with more than 400,000 hectares of trees being cut down in Tanzania each year. The time to act is now, and each one of us are responsible. But we can't just plant trees. Kupanda miti ni rahisi, lakini kukuza au kutunza ni ngumu. It's easy to plant a tree. You dig a hole, you put it in the ground. But we have to nurture trees. We have to grow trees. And this is the big question that we ask is, how do we make it more economically viable to keep a tree in the ground than to cut it down? And if we do not, and how can we inspire the nation to take care? Because if we don't, in 5 to 10 years from now, what is this nation going to look like? Climate change will have an overwhelming impact on our forests, on our rivers, on desertification, and it will directly affect the livelihoods of Tanzania in a much bigger way than it is even doing today. So this is what we want to do. And if we know that we could do something now to stop it, if we know that something can be done today, wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you take the fire in your belly and the reason in your head to create action? And so that's what we want to do as we launch the Tuje Pamoja Challenge, is to inspire every Tanzanian to contribute, plant, or donate 1 tree a year. Can you imagine the impact we will have? And this has been a true journey of Tuje Pamoja, people coming together from the creative industry, from the government, from creative strategists, animators, wise elders, media houses that have come on board this campaign to support us. And we wouldn't do it without their support and their help. And we've just started, and we're shining that light, and we're casting those signal fires so that others can catch light. And we're really thankful for all those that have partnered with us. I would like to honor a core group of people today that have been the wheels on the ground in Kilimanjaro. The team of the Kilimanjaro Project Moshi. I'd like to introduce Thomas, our general manager, Florida, our communications manager on the ground. Sam is the head of our tree tracking app. Wallace is our accountant. Timber is our geek and our head of mapping and monitoring. And Given, an old friend, he's the operations manager. And then I'd like to honor Zaituni Tuje. She keeps me sane here in Dar es Salaam, our communications manager. I'd also like to extend a thank you to the Swiss ambassadors of Tanzania and to Zambia. You two have carried this vision right when it was an art installation. You got it then, and you've carried this vision with me as we've journeyed to this day. Thank you very much, and please extend my thanks to Arthur as well. And I'd like to thank January Makamba. He also endorsed this program and this project when it was this crazy art installation. He saw that Kilimanjaro has this voice that needs to be heard, not just here in Tanzania, but across the world. So thank you for your political support and guidance during the last year and a half, January. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a believer. So we're really excited to show what we've been working on. And we'd like to play a video that will launch the challenge, or showcase the challenge that we're about to launch.
Kilimanjaro, the glaciers are disappearing. We know this. Since I started working there, one glacier has disappeared about 90% because the atmosphere is responding also to carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere, and with things like changes in the land surface, things like cutting of the trees. Unfortunately, will disappear sometime in the very near future.
We have been decimating our forests at an alarming rate. We have natural habitats that are world conservation areas, and those have to be protected. And the first people to protect them are the people of Tanzania ourselves.
The Kilimanjaro Project is an environmental and social impact initiative to raise awareness and inspire action on climate change by planting millions of trees on Kilimanjaro and across Tanzania. We believe in dynamic, active partnerships, bringing communities and organizations together to help us with this tree planting initiative. We've planted more than 70,000 trees this year already and plan to plant millions more in years to come.
If we were to agree to plant 3 a year, we could achieve the incredible possibility of having 50 million trees planted every year.
We can make this a reality. Welcome to the Tuje Pamoja Challenge.
The Tuje Pamoja Challenge has lived up to its name, connecting and attracting supporters from different sectors of the market all around the country. To spread the word, we created a series of online videos to create awareness right from the place. Thanks to our media partners, we managed to place out campaigns in key open area spaces, also through amazing celebrities that became ambassadors and pieces of the campaign. And to give this campaign relevancy, we received the endorsement of Tanzania historical figures.
Tuungane pamoja, tupande miti na kila mmoja apande angalau Angalau unasema sana. Karo mmoja hautoshi. We must plant trees, Tanzania should plant trees like madmen.
We can make this a reality. Join the Tuje Pamoja challenge today.
Tuje Pamoja! Tuje Pamoja! Tuje Pamoja! Tuje Pamoja!
Let's show the world what we can do when we come together.
So I'd like to share with you a little bit now about the dynamics of how the campaign and the mechanics of how the campaign is going to work. But before I do that, we really strategically aligned, and partnership alignment is really important. And I'm really happy today to talk about a young organization, a young company we're working with called Unzip Tanzania. And true to their name, they are sharing Tanzania's beauty with other Tanzanians and taking young people, people from all generations on trips around Tanzania. They're exploring the Dzungo Mountains, they're exploring Ruaha, Mbeya. And I love that because I think that you're more likely to preserve and conserve that which you know and understand. And so I salute you, Unzip, and I'm really happy to partner with you on this campaign. So basically, how this mechanics will work, next, sorry. The Tuje Pamoja challenge is that we're challenging everyone to donate a tree and then to challenge their friends to join in. So we have two tree options. The first tree option is a single tree at 3,000 shillings, and you donate via M-Pesa. All of this content will be available online. Then you post and you will share your photograph and challenge 3 to 5 of your friends to join the challenge. Then the next tree is the couple tree. You donate 10,000 shillings a tree, and here you win an all expenses paid weekend to Ngara, flights included as a couple. So the reason, just to be transparent, the reason that we put the trees at different prices, a lot of people have asked us that. Number one, the prices are different, but that's not the reason. We've realized this year to plant a tree with from the nursery into transporting it into the region and digging the hole and getting it in the ground is 3,000 shillings. But that doesn't allow us the opportunity then to also maintain it, to ensure the survival rate of the tree. So what we wanted to do was make it an easy access point for most people to contribute a tree, but using couples and then also our corporate sponsorships, we priced those trees at 10,000 shillings a tree. Next. So we also have the, so each one, every time you hashtag Tuje Pamoja, you make your donation and hashtag Tuje Pamoja, your image will go onto a digital mosaic of our kanga. So it basically will show at the end of this campaign, this whole kanga will be made up of the thousands and hopefully tens of thousands of people that contribute to this campaign. And we'll be able to show the world in a digital form what we've been able to accomplish when we come together. Next. We also have an opportunity for corporate packages. We are working with a CEO roundtable to kind of spread the word. And that's, again, as I said, 10,000 shillings a tree. And we offer these different sponsorship packages. So any corporates that are here that are interested, please come and see me afterwards. And then finally, and this is one of the most exciting parts for me of our project, is our partnership with Greenstand. Greenstand is it's a tree tracking app, and we've used it to monitor our trees, because it's easy to say, okay, we've raised $100,000 and we've planted 100,000 trees. But how can we prove that? How can we show the transparency? And we really believe in transparency and sustainability in all our operations. So with this tree tracking app, every tree we plant, we take a photograph of it and we geotag it. It allows us to monitor this tree over time. It also allows us to see in what areas trees are actually surviving, what trees are surviving, so we can make adjustments. But more importantly, going forward into the next year of this campaign, is this app connects donor money directly to the planter. It bypasses any organization. So every month that a person in the Shambo or out proves that their trees that they've planted are alive, a little bit of money will be transferred into their M-Pesa account. So it's payment per data entry. And this will be able to help us empower the whole nation to plant trees. And I think this is a really exciting opportunity that hopefully will launch in Tanzania and spread all around the world. That's where we're going. So, so you understand now that at the end of this, whatever we raise, you will be able to see a pin drop on the tree tracker app of where the trees have been planted. So finally, friends, just to reiterate, do not lose heart. We were made for these times, and never before have we had the tools that we have today and the means to spread light and hope. Tuje Pamoja.
Wow. Tuje Pamoja, thank you so much. A beautiful, please, makofi tena tafadhali kwa Sarah. I don't know if you noticed that the scenery was fantastic. Mtu mwingine anasema, hii ni Tanzania kweli? It was amazing. I said, nimeona nzuri sana. Na I was very touched by the fact umesema kupanda mti si kazi ngumu. Kukuza mti ndio kazi. In fact ni kama hivyo kwenye mambo ya malezi, kuzaa si hivyo, sio? Lakini kulea ndio kazi. Alright, so there's two fundamental differences. Everyone focuses maybe just on planting. How about making sure it's sustained? So this is very key. So I'm about to invite Miranda to actually host the panel discussion forum, and we're very glad our guest of honor ataweza kushiriki kwenye hili. I think just a few words just about maybe who's on the panel and you know what they do, ili tupate kuwajua vizuri zaidi. Tunashukuru sana, karibu sana Miranda.
Thank you. We've come to the exciting part where we get a little bit deeper into the issue around climate action and environment. So without further ado, I will invite, first of all, our special guest, the Honorable Minister, January Makamba. Please welcome to the stage. In the middle, please, sir. And Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Switzerland to Tanzania, you're welcome. We also have Amina Akida, who's from Tanzania Forestry Services. You're welcome. Can we have some applause, please, for the panelists? Thank you. We also have Elida Fundi, who is an environmentalist for Ujibita. You're very welcome. And I think Tumetimia. Thanks, So we will have an opportunity for questions from the audience as well, but I just wanted to kick off the discussion about collective action. And I will go straight into the Honourable Minister, please. We talk about collective responsibility and civic action, and that we all need to take a responsibility for climate action and the environment, preserving the environment. So I wanted to know, how can we support the government? What kind of civic action can we take that will support the government in its endeavour to protect our environment? Tanzania.
Thank you, Miranda, and good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you, all of you, for making time this Monday morning, and thank you, my friend Flores, for coming and supporting this. This is a very important question because actions such as this one, a project such as this one, an endeavor such as this one, can only be successful if it's people-driven, if it inspires communities, if it has an understanding and appreciation and support of the community. I think, you know, any collective action has to begin with a collective contemplation of the problem. I mean, you can't simply ask people to do something together without them having been participated in, you know, contemplating and coming to a common understanding that this is a common challenge and this is what needs to be done. So obviously, the challenge that we have now, you know, deforestation and its attendant effects, is a challenge that is felt, seen by everyone. And therefore you don't need so much convincing that we have a challenge. It's seen and it's felt. I think what needs to happen is collective contemplation of action. And I think that this project and the processes behind it will lead us there. So there are many theories of civic action and how to get people to do together, things together. But for now, I think the next step for this project particularly is to energize and to mobilize the masses to come to an agreement that this particular action is one that is appropriate and is one that they can participate.
Thank you very much. I will move to Madam Amina. I just wanted to know, from the Tanzania Forestry Services point of view, we are talking about trees here, and I just wanted to know from your perspective what is happening in terms of conserving our forests in Tanzania.
Thank you. My name is Amina Akida from Tanzania Forestry Agency. I'm a forester. Tanzania Forestry Agency is a government institution, and we have been mandated to take care of the forestry in the country. So we are doing our mandates based on a policy. We have a national forest policy, which has delegated us to take care of the forestry, and within the policy there are issues which are supposed to be taken by the communities. So in doing our work, we take care of all the stakeholders which are supposed to come in to do the forest conservation activities. So in our part, we are managing national forest reserves, but we are also establishing forestry plantations. We encourage communities to start their own forestry. We encourage individuals. We do the public awareness to take care of the forest. We also we support through technical skills. We support through education, and we also support on the field to carry out tree planting activities. But we collaborate with the other ministry, like the minister from Honorable Mr. Makamba, that we do together. There is a tree planting strategy which is under the Vice President office. So we are part in the implementation of this tree planting strategy. But in our part, we also have developed the forest conservation strategy, which is yet to be operational, but we undertake activities of conservation. I think.
Thank you for weighing in on that. Florence, the ambassador of Switzerland to Tanzania, you mentioned in your opening remarks population growth in the country. And I just wanted you to weigh in on how you think that's going to impact conservation in Tanzania, and also what contribution Switzerland is perhaps making to our environment here.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I think we are, well, I know, not only I think, we are really in front of a huge challenge. We have to, let's face it, you have 90% of all energy for cooking used in Tanzania, which is from charcoal or firewood. You have a population of 56 million inhabitants, 70% quite poor people, at least in the rural areas. You have 90% of all the charcoal, or even less, used in Dar es Salaam. You have a population growth of 2.9%, and the projection says that latest by 2050, this country will have 100 million inhabitants. In less than 15 years, Dar es Salaam will be the 6th biggest city in Africa with 10 million inhabitants. So these are the facts. We can say, continue doing as nothing would happen. By 2050, if we continue like that, we will have no more forest. So we will have to look for alternatives. But at what cost won't we have any forest? Because the projection says that still in 20 years,
at least 70% of all the energy for cooking, and so will still come from charcoal. So we may like it or not, but it is like that. So there are two different ways to see now. Well, either we try to find a solution, and this solution has to be found with the people. We cannot ban anything because it's not going to change anything. It will just make kind of a black market in charcoal. So this is not what we want. There is actually, I said it earlier, nothing wrong in cutting trees, as long as you do it in a sustainable way. The problem is that we, like the air we breathe, we have the impression that trees are free. Trees are not free, they have a value. So I think it's really important that for the success of a project like Tuje Pamoja, we need the people to understand that they cannot go like in a supermarket, in a shop, and just help themselves. It's not that you enter in a forest and you cut and you go and it is 100% benefit. It's not like that. Those trees have a value. So we have in all our approach to make people see that there is a value in the forest, there is a value in the tree, and they have to take care of that. Because this is really a gift from nature that we can have a sustainable source of energy that will grow if we take good care of it. So I think this is really the basics that we have to share and to make people understand. They have to understand that they work for their future, they can continue using charcoal as long as it's sustainable. So Switzerland has done and proven in some project in the Morogoro area. We have 24 villages where we are implementing together with the local authorities, a sustainable forest management. The deforestation has reduced by 25%. The local villagers get money from the taxes from the sustainable charcoal, average $32,000 US per year. So this money can go into infrastructures and go back to the villagers. So I think an important part would be really to get the population understand that they have an economic interest in taking care of those trees. Planting trees is very important, tracking them it's very important, but it's not enough as long as the people don't understand that they have a direct interest personally in having those trees growing and being managed on a very sustainable way. Thank you
very much for that. I think I speak on behalf of everyone when we say thank you very much for the support that Switzerland is giving to Tanzania. But I wanted to move to Elida briefly, and we're talking about civic action. You're an environmentalist. Can you inspire us to action? What are you doing, and how can we get on the bandwagon as well?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Elida Fundi. I'm working with the Mjumita. Mjumita is the Tanzania community forestry network. We are working in 12 regions in Tanzania, almost in 30 districts, and we are working with the communities living adjacent to the forest, by those who are involved in particularly forest management, commonly known as CBFM. So we are working in 452 villages, and we are covering we have almost 15,000 members in those areas. What we are doing, we are just building the capacity of this community on how to manage, utilize, and sustainably use their forestry. And another thing is that we are building the capacity of them to understand their laws and the responsibility on how to manage their forest. So we train them on how to understand policies, laws, and regulations related to natural resource management. And also we are giving them the opportunity to meet and share experience and lesson learned challenges, and come together and discuss on how to address those challenges. So, and another thing is that we are supporting them to establish alternative source of income, which will enable them to not to go away from the forest, or not depend on the forest. So this is what we are doing, and also we are supporting them to on different issues, especially on forest management, including village land use plan, setting aside the village forest reserve, help with them to develop bylaws, and facilitating them on, training them on how to implement them, and is help them to manage those forests. And also, I would like also to thank Madam Florence. She and the Swiss, they have been very, very supportive in our organization. We are among of the people, the organization, implementing the Sustainable Charcoal project in Kilosa. So we are implementing TFCG, Jumita, and Tatedo. So it is really working. It is really working there if you support communities to produce charcoal in a sustainable way. At the same time, it generates income to them, and it helps also to conserve forest. The way we are doing it, and the income which they are getting, it is supporting them in the development project activities and the other things alike. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that, Elida. The Kilimanjaro project is about tree planting, and so I just wanted a show of hands from the audience before we start to take questions. How many of you have planted a tree before? Can you raise your hand? About half. How many of you have donated to plant trees? Brilliant. I hope that we will fill the room at that point. Honorable Minister, have you ever planted a tree? When was the last tree that you planted? Where was it?
Well, at a ceremony where I had to plant a tree for photograph. You know we do that all the time, right? You go launch something. No, but seriously, we personally, this is very important for me even before I came into this portfolio. So I'm from Lushoto, one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's called they used to call it the Switzerland of Africa, right? But you know, I think Switzerland is the Lushoto of Europe. You know, that's what I like to call it. So to answer your question, yes, plenty of time. I have a small forest in my village.
Fantastic. I'm going to open up the floor to questions now from the audience, questions that you might have for any of our panelists here, and I hope there's someone running around with a microphone. Questions, please. There's one from the gentleman there in the middle. Just tell us your name, the organization you're representing, and who your question is directed to.
Hello, morning everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Henry Kazula, the founder of the Elimishe Kwanza, a training and consulting company, specifically from environmental awareness. Yeah, my question is directly focused to member from TFA Tanzania.
TFS?
Yeah, TFS. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about you need to make more clearance on tree planting strategy, because there are people from different stakeholders. They don't know exactly what's the tree planting strategy. Maybe you can share with us. Also, the issue of sustainable charcoal production. I've been heading this sustainable charcoal production. Maybe you should also, member of the floor should make this clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Madam Amina, just a little bit about your tree planting strategy. Just grab that mic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, when I was talking about the tree planting strategy, this document is owned by the office of Honorable Makamba from the Vice President office. But we as the professionals in the tree planting profession, so we take the we are part in the implementing of this strategy. So we encourage communities, individuals, civil organizations, everything to be part in the implementation. If you get the copy, I think you will see where is your role. There is a role and responsibility of each and every stakeholder to participate. The urgent need is to cover our Tanzania to care for the environment. That's why we have the strategy, and we implement it together. But then regarding the sustainable charcoal project, yes, as Madam from Gumita, the way she explained it, they are doing it in Kilosa and they are now about to spread. But as a Ministry of Natural Resources, I think we are at the stage of trying to start if this sustainable charcoal is really sustainable. Because as she was talking, to cut a tree is easy, but to plant it and it have to come to the stage that it grows to the stage that it is easy to utilize it. That is another stage. Because especially the hardwood trees, they take almost from 20 years up to 40 to be mature trees. But you can cut that an area of maybe an acre for just 2 hours. You can cut down, because there are people who have got muscle to cut down the trees. There are chainsaws, they are imported from, they come here to cut the trees. They can cut an area and it will produce a chaff. But if that is sustainable to grow a tree which is supposed to grow for 20 years, to come up to the utilizable, utilizable quantity, that is another step. But so we are now conducting a study to see if that is sustainable charcoal is the best practice. We are yet to conclude. I can't say anything about that. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And I think we should not discuss about the sustainable charcoal, because something is going on. Let's leave it until we have the conclusion whether it is sustainable. We should not discuss it, because here we are on the trying to encourage the Kilimanjaro Tuje Pamoja project to come on. We should not discuss the sustainable charcoal. I think it's not the forum for it.
Or maybe you can talk about it offline as well.
Yeah,
Would you like to add in as well?
Thank you, Amina. I would just like to add something on that. Maybe only just small to understand on how sustainable charcoal works. We are working in community-based forest management areas. So within village forest reserve, what we are doing, first we are conducting assessment to understand the amount of wood which is there. And also we allocate that village forest reserve in different parties. So within 90% the area, 100%, we allocate only 10 or 20% of the area as area for sustainable charcoal. So all the harvesting is conducted in that area, and 80% or 90% is left out for protection. So what we are doing that, in that 10 or 20%, the area is also allocated in a small patches, which one patch is harvested once per year. So all the rotation is conducted in that area. You are harvesting in this patch, the small patch, in year 1. So you are going around after 24 years, you are coming to the first patch. So remember that 90% of the area or 80% of the area is protected. So the harvesting is only conducted in 10 to 20% of the area. You can see that. We see this is working because we want charcoal and everyone is using charcoal. The demand of charcoal is high. But how can we do it sustainable? And we think that is a good approach which we can invest in and the government can invest in, so that instead of people harvesting or illegally harvest everywhere, they can have a good approach which will allow them to stick in one place and harvesting that areas, but the other area left alone in protection. Thank you.
Thank you. Very impassioned, and this is the kind of passion that inspires change. I'm just going to pass the microphone to the ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I think the project that has been done proved that it is possible to have sustainable charcoal production, but we don't have to put all the pressure on charcoal. because we haven't mentioned other sustainable energies. We also have to look at other biomass energy, but also solar energy. So the whole pressure is not only on the in a city like Dar es Salaam, it is cheaper for the people to use gas cylinder, LNG. So we also have in cities above all to help economic viable system that make it cheap actually for the population to buy a cylinder and to use LNG. It comes cheaper than using charcoal, just that you have to put at the beginning a higher amount of money to buy your cylinder. But after that, once you have it, then cooking comes out cheaper. So we should not focus only on the charcoal. Charcoal will be here for the next 50 years at least. It's going to be a very important part of the energy used all over Tanzania. But we have now to look into other energies in a country, in a place like Dar es Salaam, where there is so much sun. I don't understand why not every house have a solar panel on the roof. It is cheap, it is energy available. You have so much sun. So it's difficult to understand why this is not more used. So we have to look for a solution, also supported by international community, to help those sustainable energies to develop and to be more used, above all in places of concentration like Dar es Salaam.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will just go for one or two more questions. Madam Zuhura Muro, and there's also a lady at the back there. So we'll take both questions. Please introduce yourself, direct your question. We'll take both of them before we answer.
Good morning. I would like to commend Sarah and the team for the initiative. My name is Zuhura Muro. She has already mentioned it. Born in Kilimanjaro, married in Kilimanjaro, so I didn't go very far. I live around the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, and I understand the importance of this particular project. My question to you, Sarah, and the team, because I was born there, there are so many taboos and rules and compliance issues around the mountain that when we were growing up, you are taught how to protect the mountain. I just wanted to know whether the project is also exploring that, because it is a dimension where you can win the hearts and the minds of the people. So maybe offline, I'd like to know more about how you are actually leveraging on that, because it is something which resonates. When I'm in the village, if the men in my house do not get out to go to tend the canal, we are normally fined. They can come and take a goat or take a chicken as a fine. There are so many taboos, and that's what actually kept the mountain surviving for many years. It is after sometimes when we started having forest officers posted to Kilimanjaro, then ignoring the customary law around the protection and other things, that's when we started seeing a lot of degradation. But if the project is able to leverage on the traditional customary compliance, regulations and whatever, because some of us who were taught, if we do something, your brother will die. So exactly you won't do it because you love your brother. So such things can work so much. Thank you very much. I love to work with you offline.
Thank you very much for that question. Great synergy there. Evans, there's one more question from the lady with glasses near the speaker at the back.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Lucy, and what a commendable job indeed. My question is to the TFS Badakida. So TFS is also charged with generating funding from sale of timber and what have you. At the same time, you're also charged with taking care of the forest. That could sound as a conflict of interest, and I'm wondering, I'm encouraged to see that there's a conservation strategy, but maybe you could highlight to some of us who are really struggling to reforest what mechanism there is to ensure that this is really done in a very sustainable manner, because as is mentioned, it's not just charcoal that is deteriorating our forest cover, but it's also timber construction and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Ami?
Yeah, thank you for that. You know, the forest must have some use when you have the sustainable use, sustainable forest management, that means you have two parts. You have the use and the conservation part. If you don't have that, that means even to go for tourism, that is a non-consumptive use. We encourage that when it comes to tourism. But when there is timber, the forest has to contribute to the economic development of the country. That's why there is a part of, we have that mandate to collect revenue from forest management. We have our plantation. The timber for different uses. On the other side, we have the natural forest. That's where there is a lot of pressure from the local people, from the people living at the, even from the people from the towns, because there are big people from towns. They encourage the people in the village to cut trees for charcoal and then they sell here. That's why even in Dar es Salaam up to today, people are using charcoal. They're supposed to go for LPG. So that is the problem. But then we have to use our forest. We cannot live with it as it is. We do the conservation part, the other side, because our agency has been accepted with the dual purpose, conservation and utilization. All of them we have to balance. We do the tree planting. We have the program for community support. We have program for plantation establishment and expansion. We have program for protection of the natural forest. We do the upgrading of those forests which we see that we have high potential for biodiversity. We encourage them to become with high potential status of protection. We do the protection, but we also do the collection. I think with that I have tried to explain.
Thank you very much. I think a round of applause for our panelists. And in case you're wondering why the Honorable Minister is so quiet, he's going to give us his official speech in a moment at the podium. So thank you to the Ambassador, thank you Madam Amina and Anita as well. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please.
Tuwapigie makofi tafadhali. Tunashukuru sana kwa maswali, maoni, mapendekezo. Right now, I'm about to invite the Honorable Guest of Honor to get back onto the podium and at least give his remarks.
Morning again. All the good things have been said, and I don't want to thanks all for coming. We as government support this project. I think it's important. It contributes to our effort to conserve the environment, to fight climate change, and we encourage the partners that are there to continue to support the project. We welcome other people to come on board. We thank the Swiss government for its support. We appreciate Sarah's passion and commitment, which has been demonstrated amply and clearly for anyone who has encountered her. Yes, you can't miss, that passion and commitment. I have a lot to say about charcoal, population growth, energy economics, what it means for future of Tanzania, and where we're heading as a country. But you really don't want to hear that from me now. What you want to hear is that, as government, we are happy that this citizen-driven initiative is being launched today, and I, as a representative of government, I'm very honored to be part of this. We hope and wish that communities in areas where this project will be implemented will be involved in a meaningful ways, will own the project, will be proud to be associated with, I hope we'll avoid the usual dangers of flyby, project with different people than us coming and paying us to plant trees. Part of the challenging work in this area is to get the communities to appreciate that it's in their interest to actually plant trees and keep the trees that have been planted. So we are with you. Tumeshakuja pamoja sasa, tutaendelea kuwa pamoja. Our office, the Vice President's office, is always open and supportive of these initiatives, and I hope that you will work with others who are already doing good things, because there are plenty of people who are in this space, and they have experience in these things they've done for many years, and part of your effort will include coordination, information sharing, lessons sharing, so that you are successful. In many areas we don't need to reinvent the wheel, because people's motivations on doing things are already known, and we'll work with others. I want to reiterate again our commitment as government and the Vice President's office that we will be with you all the way to make sure that you succeed. Me personally, in my individual capacity, my personal capacity, as you have seen over the past year, and as the Vice President's machinery, as also you have witnessed over the past few weeks, where they've worked with you to make sure that everything goes well. So today is not the day for many words. I hope that we will find a different forum where we can explore very complex and interconnected issues of biomass energy and energy poverty, and what trees means for people, biodiversity, and the richness of our intangible benefits from forestry, and not the things that we see as trees. This is a very important conversation, and once you get into that conversation very deeply, you will see that people immediately have a different conception of conservation and forestry and tree planting. So, I would hope that we can organize something where I know the limitation of the panel, and it was clearly communicated that you don't want to hear from me, from the panel. So let me conclude by saying that congratulations, Sarah, and your team. We're with you, and let us know what we can do. You must know already that this initiative enjoys the support of very important people in our society, in our country, as seen in the video, and also as demonstrated by those who have attended here. So thank you very much. Karibuni sana, and I want to say that I declare with absolute honor and pleasure that the Tuje Pamoja Challenge is officially launched. Asanteni sana.
Sarah, please come forward. Your Excellency Ambassador Kelvin Teresa, please come forward as well. Madam Elvina. Amina. Please come forward. Thank you.
If we can do it properly, if somebody has it.
Do it.
Yeah, you can do it. Because
as a gift to you.
Yeah.
Sasa ndio utaratibu unafanyika sasa hivi. Tunatumia teknolojia. And it's interesting that The minister was initially in science and technology ministry, now it's in environment, now we're using technology for environment. That's a very interesting point. So step one is?
So step one is donate using M-Pesa LIPA number 5588080. So
5588080.
LIPA 5588080. And I'm going to get a couples tree. But if I win, I'll give it to you.
All right, very good.
I'll take your wife away for the weekend.
Free trip, yeah. Why not?
Okay, so the first tree donated to the Tuje Pamoja challenge. Done. Sorry it's not showing on the screen, everybody.
But I can testify to
There you
it.
go.
Looks good.
Mtu wa kwanza
Thank you very much.
donate. Nashukuru sana, makofi tafadhali.
Very fast, yeah?
Post your photo with hashtag Tuje Pamoja.
I know how M-Pesa balance, by the way.